Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Future of Mesa Retail Committee. I always kind of say it a little bit different. We'd like to welcome, we have both Dr. Ryan Ainsworth with us today and Helen Marie also, who will be presenting. Thank you both. I'd like to go ahead and introduce Helen, who will be kicking us off. Trish, do you want to go ahead and go around the room first? And before I give Helen the microphone.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with myself. Trish Hayden. I'm the Director of Member Services here at the Mesa Chamber. I essentially help support and advocate our businesses with this retail committee, for one, getting our members involved in this committee so we can help the future of business here in Mesa. So I will go to the right, and that is Dr. Ryan Ainsworth. Go ahead.
Folks, I'm Ryan Ainsworth. I'm the owner of Park Avenue Pet Supply in Mesa. We have a location in Gilbert. I'm a practicing veterinarian. I offer relief services out in the West Valley at this point, but I've owned Park Avenue since 2018.
Perfect. And the next one is Mary Lou.
I was on mute again. Hi. I am Mary Lou Ruiz Gray, and I am the General Manager for Superstition Springs Center.
And Pooja.
Hi, I'm Pooja Compton. I'm a branch manager here at Global Credit Union in Mesa.
Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Dixon, Maricopa County Small Business Advocate. We have a program that helps diversify our suppliers and get more small businesses implemented on that procurement side.
And I might also mention Ryan will be a presenter in this group at some point. As soon as we get her dialed in, I think she's going to be a great asset to this retail committee. Next up, Charlotte.
Hello, everyone, and happy election season is almost over. I can't wait. I am Dr. Charlotte Goodale with CMG Strategies, and I am a training strategist.
And Brandon.
Good afternoon. Brandon McMillan. I am a division sales manager for Public Services covering East and North Phoenix. And I have an office right in it in Mesa. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Brandon. And Thomas.
Hey, thank you for the invite, Trish. I appreciate it. Hey, my name is Thomas Prouse. I'm the owner of the Grease Monkey Full Service Auto Repair Center and Oil Change on East Broadway. We just opened back in June. So looking forward to meeting folks and understanding how we can become a part of the community and maybe share what we do and expand from there.
Wonderful. Rosie.
Hi guys, I'm Rosie Tankersley. I am a business development director at Access Roofing. It's a small business, but handle everything commercial, residential roofing. So I'm excited to also be part of the group. Thanks for welcoming.
We're excited to have you, Rosie. Thank you. Ricardo.
Hello, I'm Ricardo with Mesa Sales, retail manager. Fairly new to the chamber, but happy to be here.
Glad to have you here. All right, go ahead, Charlotte.
All right, everyone, thank you again. We actually have a pretty good group for today. That's good. I'd like to introduce Helen Marie. She will be our first presenter today. She is the owner of True Life Harmony. Her business really helps owners and professionals build their unbreakable confidence to speak with ease and calm on stage or screen, something I need to work on. Her goal is to get to the root of the problem and get you the results traditional methods can't. Helen has spoken in every setting from small meetings to large audiences. She's realized even the most prepared, knowledgeable, and seasoned professionals can suffer from racing hearts, sweaty palms. And with the background in science, she became interested in how the brain works, what makes change possible, and how to stop the doubt and dry mouth when preparing for a speech. She has completed courses in neuroscience and programs to become a specialist practitioner in neurohypnotic repatterning. I'll say that 5 times fast. So welcome, Helen. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Sorry that's so kind of lengthy. I do have some slides to share, so I just want to get those set up real quick. So what I'm going to be talking about is going to be about your 60-second pitch and just making that better. And then I'm going to go through, hey, if you've got a longer talk to give, how that's going to work. And then also just kind of how to feel that confidence, and no matter whether you're given a 60-second pitch or if you're doing a long talk. So I just want to get to my slides here real quick and then figure out how to share them. So let's see. I apologize. Share. I guess I'm doing it the wrong way here. Okay. And then, oh my gosh. Can I make this bigger or does it just stay like that? Do you know, Charlotte?
It's actually on my end, but I don't know. I think it's on your end that you'd have to.
Okay. Because I did do that. So let's see. There we go. Okay. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm Helen Marie. I'm with True Life Harmony, and we're going to go through kind of what I just said, that 60-second pitch, tips for longer talks, and then just having that confidence that when you talk, you feel comfortable. You don't have the racing heart, you don't have sweaty palms, and you can talk and be clear and explain everything that you want to. So we'll start with that 60-second pitch. And the main thing in any kind of talk that you give is you want to be clear, concise, and create a connection with whoever you're talking to. So, and when I say clear, I mean, what is my message I'm trying to get across? What am I sharing? Who am I talking to? What is the goal of this topic? So that when the person who you're speaking to walks away, they know exactly what you were talking about. So when Ryan gets up here to talk about his business, we'll know, okay, he's talking about his pets and whatever things that he can do to provide for them. Or the gentleman with the grease monkey, we know what resources he has if I need to take in my vehicle. Concise is just talk about what you're going to talk about. Don't bring in all the extra fluff. And then create a connection is I want them to relate to me so they know what I'm providing for them. They see me as somebody who is a resource for them. They feel that connection. And I'll talk about how we can do that. So what do you want to include when you're doing your 60-second pitch? Obviously, you want to state your name and your business. And we all did that. We just got done doing that. But you want to go into a little bit more detail when you're doing that 60-second pitch. You want to describe what you do. What's that product or service you're offering? And in this stage, you really want to start creating a picture for your potential client, your customer, the audience that you're speaking to. You want to have them relate to you what you're offering to them. And you can create a picture through stories and examples and asking them questions. So the next step is to what sets you apart? How are you different from the mechanic shop next door, from the business that's next door that does the exact same thing that you do? And then you also want to talk about the benefits that you offer. So what will they receive when they walk into your shop, your store, your office? What are they going to come away with? And then obviously you want to have a call to action at the very end. That call to action is that last thing that they hear from you before they walk out the door or you end the presentation. So you want to invite that listener to connect with you to, hey, let's do a follow-up. I'll get a hold of you, or here's my card. Reach out to me when you need me. Then and this is optional, is you may want to mention who your ideal customer is. So say you're a baker. Your ideal customer is somebody who loves a certain type of cakes. Maybe they love cannolis. Maybe they love chocolate chip cookies. You want to list who that person is. Now, you don't have to. It kind of depends on the time that you've got. Maybe you deal in insurance and it's the end of the year and you want to get to the people who are on Social Security, who are using Medicare. You want to say, hey, this is my ideal customer right now. And that could change from week to week or month to month. It just depends on the season, what you offer. So here's an example of a 60-second pitch. So, hi, I'm Alex, the owner of Sweet Treat. That's my introduction. That's the business that I have, and this is my name, so you get in touch with me. What do? We specialize in artisanal, handmade pastries and cakes that bring a touch of sweetness to any occasion. So here they're starting to create that picture. Artisanal, it's handmade. These are pastries and cakes, but they're different because they're handmade, they're artisanal. And that brings up an image in your mind, in your customer's mind, which may be different. Hey, maybe they start thinking about, you know, when I was a kid, my mom used to take me to the store on Sunday, and we would go buy these certain types of cookies. What sets you apart? Our unique recipes, crafted from the finest ingredients, ensure that every bite is a delightful experience. That's more of that picture that you're painting for them. And this sets you apart. It's unique recipes, the finest ingredients. We craft them and every bite is delightful. What are the benefits? Whether you're planning a celebration or simply want to indulge, we're here to make your moments special. So this is what we're offering for you. We're going to make that event, whether you just want to sit on the couch and enjoy one of our treats, or whether it's a 50th wedding anniversary. We want to help you plan that celebration and make that moment special for you. Again, it's another piece of that painting the picture. So they go, oh my gosh, I know the perfect person to do this thing for me. And this is optional. Our best customers are those who love those handmade pastries and cakes. And it may not be you. You may go, you know what, I'm not into sweets, but I have a friend, a neighbor who loves to bake. I bet that person would just love a special treat that he or she doesn't have to make, but I'm going to provide for them. And that last step, let's connect and see how we can add a little sweetness to your life. So I didn't hear anybody in this group that has a restaurant or bakes, but there are ways to use these steps to include in your business. So when you do your pitch, this is just, kind of a guideline for you. What are some things that make us stand apart? How do I create that picture in someone's mind so that they'll remember me when they need services like mine? And they'll come back to me because I have created that connection with them. So here are some things that you want to avoid. You don't want too much detail, too much jargon, because that can overwhelm your listener. And technical terms, unless you know the group that you're talking to, it might confuse them, or they might just kind of drift off and be like, you know what, I don't understand what this person is talking about. I obviously don't need their help, because they're talking over my head. And you don't want to be too vague. You don't just want to say, hey, you know what, I can fix your car, when really you're a transmission shop. Or, I can help you start your business, when really you write the proposals. So you want to give them enough information that they can understand what you can offer, but don't be too specific or too technical with them that it overwhelms them. And also you want to make sure you tailor it to your audience. So you want to provide examples. Again, if you go back to, hey, I'm talking to mechanics here, I can be more technical, and I can bring up a story that relates to, that these guys can relate to, these ladies can relate to. If I'm going to go in and fix their car, I can tell them, hey, I use these tools. If it's somebody who doesn't know anything about fixing a car, you want to stay a little bit more generic in your example. I had a lady come in last week who was in the exact same position as you, and I was able to help her out in her situation. So when you're giving your 60-second pitch, you can use that example. I'm going to go a little more generic, or I'm going to go a little more specific based on that audience. And you always want to focus on the positive aspects of your business and never criticize any competitors. So you may not like the food at the restaurant next door, but you don't want to talk about that. You just want to talk about how wonderful it is and what you can offer at your place of business. So all of the things that we just talked about in that 60-second pitch also apply to networking events. Anytime you give a presentation, whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, you can still use that as an outline, that 60-second pitch, but there's a few extra things that you want to include as well. So you always want to be clear, concise, and create a connection. And then in your presentation, just limit it to 3 points. If you start getting into more points, you may have to go up to 5. Some people, it depends on if it's a little bit longer of a talk. But you want to be very specific with your points, make sure they make sense to what you're talking about. It's a good idea to keep it to 3 if you can, but if you have to go longer, that's fine. And then again, make it memorable, create those pictures, add in stories, ask questions, do a poll. Hey, raise your hand if you have seen this movie. And then you can talk about that movie. You know, oh, you remember that scene in this movie? Make it memorable, bring up those feelings. You want that connection with the people that you're talking to. And as always, practice, practice, practice. Know your material really well. And the more you know that material, the easier it is to adjust if you need to, make it longer, make it shorter. And then also get feedback. So while you're practicing, find somebody, a friend, a coworker, a family member who will listen to you give the talk. And as you do it, have them write down some pointers. Hey, I didn't understand this piece of it, or it would make more sense if you rearranged it and put your points, you know, put point number 2 in your first position. I didn't understand what your story meant. It didn't relate to me. It doesn't mean it's not going to relate to the people in your audience, but that's up to you to go, okay, maybe I need to rethink this. Maybe pick a different story. And then reflect and update based on the feedback that you get. And then again, connect. Here's some other ways to connect with your audience. So one, knowing them. I've kind of harped on that a little bit. Make eye contact with them. So when we're doing a Zoom presentation, it's a little bit different. You're kind of looking at the screen. Right now you're looking at my presentation, so I can't even see everybody, but I can look at the camera. And that creates a little bit of a connection because now you see me looking at you through the screen instead of me looking at my presentation. And if you've got the big group of everybody there, then they can look at you while you're looking at the camera. And it doesn't, and everybody knows, okay, they're looking at the camera, but it does create a little bit of a connection. And if you're doing like a one-on-one with a client, or you're doing a presentation, you know, with your networking group, then you want to look at everybody, just kind of go around the room. If it's too big and you can't hit everybody, that's fine. But you don't want to stop and stare at somebody because it'll make it kind of a little bit awkward, you know, and then somebody might feel a little embarrassed and they'll look away and you'll break that connection. But if you do it for a few seconds, you make a point, you move on to the next person, you make a point, you move on to the next person. Use your voice. If you want to really emphasize a point, change the pitch of your voice, raise it up a little bit, make it a little bit softer. Also, you can use pauses because when you use a pause, it emphasizes what you just said, and it allows the people who are listening to really take in what you said and remember it a little bit more. If you're telling a story, that's a great time to pause, is right when you're done. And be yourself. You know, people want to do business with people they can relate to. And if you're just pushing, hey, come buy my product, hey, come use my services, you know, people tend to shut down a little bit and you lose that connection. But if you're fun and relaxed and enjoying yourself, then people are going to feel that warmth within you and they're going to want to do business with you. They're going to want to engage with you, or at least ask you a question. And then maybe they know somebody that could use your services. And body language is another thing. You know, when you come in, you want to make sure you're looking around the room, people see you. When you're giving that, your 60-second pitch or your 10-minute presentation, you're looking at the people who are around. You know, you're not staring at one person like we just talked about, or looking off to the side the whole time, because then people don't feel like you're engaged with them. So it's clear, concise, create that connection. And I want you to be confident with every interaction that you have. And that's kind of where my services come in as well. So whether it's a small or a large audience, obviously you want to prepare your material. So confidence really comes from within you. It's going to be the actions that you take that strengthen how you feel about yourself. So preparation is the biggest thing. The more you know the material, the easier it is for you to adjust. So if you show up to where you're going to give your presentation, or even if it's on Zoom, you know, make sure your computer's ready to go. If the battery's not almost ready to give out, that, you know, the tables are set up in a way that people can see you, so you don't feel like you're talking to somebody's backs, or that you're just comfortable in the room that you're in. You know, if you're going to be talking in front of a large audience, you've got the podium and you walk up to the podium, be familiar with what's there. You're going to take a notebook and have a pen up there. When you know the material and you know the space that you're in, you're more confident in yourself. And then practice that flow. Make sure what you're saying is coming out smoothly or smoothly enough. Everybody makes mistakes, you know, and prepare for those mistakes. So if you go, oh gosh, I'm worried about brain freeze, practice, incorporate it when you're practicing your speech. Actually stop and pause and be like, okay, what am I going to do now? But you can work it in. And remember that dramatic pause that I mentioned earlier, is you can just practice pausing. Okay, and now I have a line, geez, I just forgot what I was going to say. Let me check my notes really quick. Or make it like, I want you to think about this, kind of a pause. And then go, you know what, I just want to be sure that I got that right. Let me check really quick. And have a piece of paper or a note card or something that you can cue yourself off of, just in case. And especially if you've got quotes or something like that, you want to make sure that you've got that correct. And even if you've got it memorized, just have it there so you can refer back to it. Now this piece, prepare yourself, comes into play if you tend to constantly worry a little bit more. You're thinking about the presentation that's coming up, or you know that you tend to be a little bit nervous when you're doing the presentation itself. And these are just some tips that you can do to prepare ahead of time and even at the time of the talk. And I say take notes. So write out what's going on with you. A lot of people, they will just continue to think and think and think, and you want to stop and wonder, why am I thinking about this? What's going on? Why are my hands sweaty when I get ready for a talk? Why does my heart start to race and my mouth get really dry? What comes up when you write that down? So I'm writing down, hey, my mouth gets dry every time, my heart starts to race. Does my mouth have to get dry? Does my heart have to race when I give a talk? Think about that. See what you think of. See what comes up. You know, generally people have some sort of and I hate to kind of say it, but they get some sort of a vision, and they'll go, oh gosh, I just saw my mom, you know, telling me I did a bad job at this. And that's what's causing your heart to race in that moment when you think about giving a speech. Or I was in the 5th grade and my teacher yelled at the kid next to me and it made me nervous. You know, stuff like that will come up. Or maybe you hear somebody, an old boss, say, oh, you're going to do a terrible job, or that wasn't your best, or something like that. So write out what that problem is and then ask the questions. Is this really true? You know, am I terrible at giving talks? You know, maybe my mom was wrong. You know, I was only in the 5th grade. So write that out and kind of challenge it a little bit. And then schedule a time. So if you're somebody who tends to worry about stuff like this, schedule a time. You make it a week from now, give yourself 15 minutes, and that's the time that you can worry about it. You know, make it at a time. You can do it before or after the talk. Often, if you're really worried about it, you may want to do it before and just give yourself 15 minutes to think about it, because you know what? Everybody's busy. Why do you need to spend your time worrying or doubting yourself? Give yourself that 15 minutes and then you're done. And don't allow yourself to think about it again until you get back, until you're ready for that speech. You cannot think about being worried or stressing about the speech anymore, because you've had that time. And here's another one that people talk about a lot. You can do this if you get nervous when you're practicing for your speech, because some people they're preparing and they're thinking about, oh my gosh, this audience is going to be there, and it makes them nervous. They have a reaction to it. You can do, there's a couple different types of breathing techniques that you can do. One's a physiological sigh. And that one is just a nice long deep breath in and then a real quick short breath. So you just go, and then that long breath out. And then the box breathing. And the box breathing is just breathe in 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. And you can do both of those a few times. And those engage, and figure out which one works for you. Those engage like a natural relaxation in your body. So you can do that while you're preparing for your speech. And if you do, I mean, if you're somebody who's really stressed about it and thinking about the audience and that kind of stuff, schedule the time and then work on your breathing. And the breathing will help calm you down so that you can practice the speech, because you're more likely to give the speech the way you practice it. So if you're calm when you're practicing it, you're more likely to be calm when you're giving the talk. So, and whether it's the 60-second, the 10-minute, the 45, it doesn't matter. If you need to, and it's a longer speech, you can use the breathing during the middle of it as well, during a pause or something like that. And then when you get to the talk itself, you can do a quick little breath or two in, and let it out before you get started to have that engaged. So this is what I do. I teach you how to speak confidently. So we build that unbreakable confidence so that you can speak with ease and calm on stage or online. And then, I talk about public speaking tips, but what I do is really not about the tips and the tricks. It's about getting to the root of that problem so that you can feel confident when you go out and do it without taking medications, without that constant worry. And then we get to the root, because the root of the thoughts are the root of your feelings. So, and how you feel determines how you act. So we get in, if you come work with me, I help you get to what is really going on underneath. Like I said, taking the notes, and if you noticing that stuff comes up, that's kind of what I work on with people, with my clients. So if this could benefit you, or anybody this could benefit, I'm here to help. And that is it. Anybody has any questions? Nope.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
That was really good. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to just quickly welcome Emily Bates. She came in just a little bit late, but she's with Queen Bee Home.
Oh, hi, Emily. Welcome.
Hey,
I'm so sorry. I didn't have the link, and then I saw my calendar and I just texted Trish real quick. So apologies for my tardiness.
No
I
worries.
think Thomas, welcome, Emily. Thomas, you had a question?
Yeah, just real quick. I was trying to take some of the notes, but is there an access that we could have to the presentation? There were some things I wasn't able to capture just for just to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I can send them. Trish, you want me to send them to you or Charlotte?
You can send them to me, but also we record this and it's going to YouTube, and we usually send the link out. So you'll get it either way.
Okay. Me being the rookie.
No worries.
Trying to get people to that YouTube channel for sure. Lots of good stuff there. Anyone else?
Helen, I thought it was a great presentation. On the first, I think it's like the first or the second slide where you talk about, I think it's the first slide where you're going through the introduction. That third, your elevator speech. I mean, do you have any pointers for people to, because it's very corporate-y almost, right? But how do you weave that in so that it seems like a natural dialogue and it doesn't seem so pitchy?
So you mean when you're giving your elevator speech?
That third, it was the third question. It was you start with your name, and then your business, and then you're talking about artisanal bakery, and it's like a marketing, I've got a marketing background, so it's a very beautifully well-spoken marketing, line. But how do you do that and weave it into a normal conversation, right?
Well, a lot of it is just, listen, this is what I do. And I worked with somebody and I offered this to them, and this is how it helped them. Just bring up that story. This is somebody I've worked with in the past. This is how it's affected my life. This is why I got into it. This is how I'm able to help somebody else. Even if it's not something you've used personally, you can always talk about, a coworker's situation where they were able to help someone. So can you give me a little more detail about what you do?
No, look, I've done what I've done for so long, and I feel like, I'm fairly confident, but in that third bullet point, I just thought, if I am, it just didn't seem like a more natural, and I'm speaking from, I've got a business here he bakes croissants, and he makes the most delectable croissants, but he is not the type of person that knows necessarily how to pitch his own business, which, somebody like you would be critical for him. So I couldn't see him that almost has to be ingrained in his brain of how do you pitch your own, your own business, and almost saying it repetitively in order for it to seem natural rather than, I think when it's natural, then you become confident in saying it rather than, practicing it on somebody for the first time. And then you're kind of questioning, was that too much type of thing? Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's a good point too, is that he probably says this stuff all day long. He's just never put it into a format where he's pitched it. So
Yeah.
once, if he talks to somebody else and says, hey, let me try this out on you, and then just go, okay, does this sound okay? And then just repeat it in his head, say it out loud when he's driving in the car. It's just literally that repetition of him doing it that will make him comfortable with it. So, and that's pretty much all everything is just practice, practice, practice,
Yeah.
Get used to the way you say it, make it comfortable for you. So it doesn't, I mean, anything you do that's related to your business can be part of the pitch, as long as you stick to kind of one theme in that 60-second pitch or 30-second pitch,
Did
Does
you
that
call
answer the
it a
question for you?
4-pack?
Sorry?
Did you call it a 4-pack?
No, sorry, I don't know. I don't know what I said.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like I heard that, so that was kind of fun, but
It can be now.
yeah,
Yeah.
the intro, the what you do, what sets you apart, and the benefits, and that's just
Yeah.
I put 1, 2, 3, 4, and I heard 4-pack, but that's not a thing.
Okay.
I just made it up.
I like
Yes,
it. I
think
like
I'm gonna use
4-pack.
it.
Rosie, go with it. Point it and run.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
You mentioned also the reflection and the feedback.
Mhm.
I think when you're giving like a presentation, that can be hard to like stop and engage with the audience. Like, is there an example of what you meant? Well, especially with roofing, for me, it's going to be like, has anybody gone on their roof? Like, is that a good question to ask? Like, how do I engage regarding roofing, right?
Yeah, well, when you're speaking, you're going to look at the audience and they're going to see, you can kind of look and see, are people looking down? Are they looking out? Do they look interested? Do they look bored? You can kind of get that feedback. And then also ahead of time, talk to somebody who maybe isn't as familiar with it, and get their feedback and say, hey, does this resonate with you? I mean, a good question could be is how many people have leaks in their roofs? How many people have struggled to find somebody they can depend on? Something like that as far as roofing
Okay.
goes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anytime it rains, I get at least 5 emails from 5 different roofing companies asking me if we had leaks the day before. You know what I mean? So
Are you in insurance? That's probably why.
no, I'm in property management. So yeah.
That's why, Mary Lou. That's what happens.
Well,
Yeah,
so
everyone's interested in my roof then. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
thank you, Helen. Great presentation, really good,
Thank you.
back and forth with the group, great engagement. Thank you. But I do want to go ahead and again, thank you again, Helen. Your information will be available on the YouTube channel. Trish will be handling that. But I would like to go ahead and switch gears. And if you have more questions for Helen, you also can put them in chat or email her directly. Thank you so much. We have a few minutes we still have a good 25 minutes. I'd like to introduce Dr. Ryan Ainsworth. He is our second presenter today. Dr. Ryan, thank you again for presenting today. He purchased Bark Avenue in 2018, which included Bark Avenue Animal Hospital, Bark Avenue Pet Resort, Bark Avenue Pet Supply, and he sold the Animal Hospital in 2021 and the Pet Resort in 2024. Bark Avenue Pet Supply has expanded to Gilbert in 2021, and he has been a veterinarian for 16 years and currently offers relief services in the West Valley. Welcome, Dr. Ryan Ainsworth.
Thanks for having me. I do have some slides I'd like to share, so I'm going to share my screen here if I can. There we go. Okay. Can you all see this okay? Excellent. Okay. So this is our logo for Park Avenue Pet Supply. As you mentioned, I purchased Park Avenue in 2018. That was my third practice that I had purchased, and I bought my first practice in 2014 at Mesa Northeast, and then purchased Noah's Ark in 2016, and then Park Avenue in 2018. We built it from 1 doctor to 10 doctors, and it's a rather long story, but I sold them in the animal hospitals in 2021 and held on to the resort and the pet supply. Offloaded the pet resort in about 4 months ago, and have every intention on keeping the pet supply stores for as long as I'm having fun. To be brutally honest, being a business owner for 10 years, you learn lots of lessons through the school of hard knocks. There hasn't been a great, there's tons of resources you have to help you as a business owner, but unfortunately, a lot of it is through the School of Hard Knocks. But being involved with the Mesa Chamber, we look at this as a good opportunity, one, only to network, but also to learn. I know you guys have the leadership course that I'm hopefully that one of my managers will be involved with here soon. But this is the animal hospital here. So our purpose statement here. So we exist to challenge the standards in the pet care industry, always raising the bar to create exceptional experiences by partnering with pet parents, provide education, comprehensive pet care, giving back to our community partners, and by providing a place where an employee can grow in the pet care industry and find fulfillment in what they do. So our vision statement, we want to expand our paw print, become a pet household name throughout the community, providing leadership and career opportunities for our growing, incredible, talented team. I would like to expand other areas of the valley. There's a lot of factors that are involved with that about whether leasing or purchasing real estate, but we do plan on growing, but slowly but surely. What we value at Park Avenue. So one, we try to pause to connect from creatures to clients and colleagues. We cherish the connections we create. So our staff is well trained on acknowledging people when they walk in, getting to know our clients, and doing everything we can to help our clients meet their pets' nutrition needs. Two, we look to lend a paw. So we look for opportunities to jump in to support our pets, clients, and our teammates. And we're all about promoting the positive. So we tackle challenges with a positive attitude and outlook, and find constructive solutions and seek opportunities to innovate. So essentially, this is kind of how our flywheel on what drives our company and how we look to grow. So of course, we want to attract customers and keep those clients. We train our staff about nutrition. Being a veterinarian, I have nutrition training. There's also lots of nutrition courses our staff take online. Sorry, of course, I got 4 dogs that bark when a fly hits the wall. Excuse me here, but our staff are very well trained with dog and cat nutrition. Offering expanded services, what that means is we look for areas where we can help fulfill the needs of our pet parents by, for example, in the Gilbert location, we have self-dog washing stations. When I had the resort, we offered daycare, boarding, grooming, and of course, veterinary services. So any product that we bring in, we want to make sure that it's a quality product. We're not looking to bring in products that are, excuse me one second, I'm sorry, hang on one sec. Okay, my apologies there. Employee retention is an incredibly important part of our business as well. I'm not sure if anyone knows the statistics on this, but it costs a lot of money to hire and train, and especially the higher the person is in the organization. I think it's something like $30,000 or something along those lines to replace a manager. Yes, we have a lot of entry level employees, but it's still rather pricey to lose someone. So we pay above minimum wage. We do our best to provide health insurance, PTO, and everything we can to help our employees. So we got employees that have been with us for several years, and we have an excellent team. Of course, our goal there is to also provide great customer service, and in doing so, that also will attract and repeat new customers. We went through have you guys heard of EOS, or Entrepreneurial Operating System? We went through something similar called Pinnacle, and we really took a lot of time to figure out what is our strategy in the pet retail space. And this, we came up with acknowledge the customer, which is, we underlie knowledge that our staff are very competent. They can answer the vast majority of your questions. And we also acknowledge our customers when they come in. Again, we create that that connection, or pause to connect, and so forth. And of course, our core business to promote quality pet nutrition. I took this from our Facebook page. This is just a picture of a few from the Mesa and the Gilbert location. I got some other photos I can show you here as well, but we have our two locations there. One, it's on McKellips in between Lindsay and Val Vista. And then our second location in Gilbert is on Cooper and Warner. And again, the Mesa location has been there since 2005. The previous owner had it for 13 years, and then again sold it to me in 2018. Just some photos of the front of the property. There on the left, there is the pet supply store. It's about 2,600 square feet. In the center there, which is not photo, is the animal hospital. It's about 4,000 square feet, and the pet resort there is about 16,000 square feet. So it's a pretty big property. In 2020, during COVID, we had to restrict traffic in our stores, so we had pretty much all of our staff in the front and getting products for customers as they requested, and that gave us opportunity to remodel the store. So we painted the store with our colors, and we put down new flooring, got a new cash wrap, and we remodeled the store so it looks a lot nicer than previously. We are one of the largest raw retailers in the state, so we do sell a lot of raw diets for pets. And just a little touch on raw diets in particular. These aren't like raw diets like you would get at a grocery store. So for those that aren't aware, the USDA regulates human food, the FDA regulates pet food, and the FDA has a zero tolerance policy for pet food for not having bacterial contamination, specifically, of course, salmonella, listeria. And kibble tends to have more recall than raw diets. A lot of these companies will use what's called high pressure pasteurization to essentially sterilize the food, so that way it kills any pathogens. And some of these companies, like Instinct, they will culture the food 10 times before it even gets out the door. It's incredibly rare to have a recall in the raw food industry. And sometimes those recalls actually put some of these businesses out of business. So it's very important to make sure they're providing a very safe diet for the consumer. And I could touch on those more if anyone has questions, but we do sell a lot of raw diets, and the other foods that we sell, I got some photos here. A lot of the kibbles are from independent manufacturers. This was us remodeling the store a few years ago. It was quite the interesting time. Our Gilbert location, this used to be an old pet club location that sat empty for a couple of years. That's what it looked like before we did our remodel. And then during the remodel, you could see they had to grind down the concrete, and they were building our self dog washing stations, which we have in the back of the store. So we have 4 of those, and those are pretty darn busy during the weekends, and on Mondays when we offer $5 off the self-wash. And that's a photo of the Gilbert location there. We're in a Fry's shopping center. We're on the corner there in the southeast corner of that intersection. This is a photo of the front of the Gilbert location. And then these are some of the brands that we carry on the kibble line. So we carry like Nutrisource, Open Farm, the Champion line, which is your Akana, Origin. Fromm's is also a big line that we carry. Fromm's is manufactured out of Wisconsin. Nutrisource is manufactured out of Minnesota, and I believe Champion's out of Canada. We have many other lines as well that we carry. So what you're not going to find the Purinas, Royal Canin, and Science Diets with us. Those you can get at PetSmart, Petco. That's really not our niche. And these are some of the raw diets that we carry, like Primal, Small Batch, My Perfect Pet, OC Raw, a few others like Northwest Naturals, Instinct, and such. So that's pretty much all I have there. Go back to
Thank you, Ryan.
that.
So in listening to this presentation, it sounds like you've been going through a lot of growth and restructuring over the past couple of years. And
Yeah,
as
so
a business owner, any guidance or anything that you'd like to say as a business owner to other business owners, how that's been?
Yeah, so I at our peak we had almost 98 employees, and that was between the 3 animal hospitals, the pet supply, 2 pet supply stores, and the pet resort. And it got a little chaotic. I had 2 small children at the time. My kids now are 6 and 8. Offloading the animal hospitals allowed me to spend more time with them, so I have no regrets doing so. And the pet resort, you know, it's a lot of work with that, where, you know, there's a lot of responsibility with that, and if something goes wrong, it can go wrong really badly. Not that we didn't deal with that on a regular basis. We had very well managed, very well staffed. I to be honest, I wanted to focus more on the pet supply stores. I'm down to 11 employees now, so
Oh,
I have jokingly say I got hit with the entrepreneurial bug, and once you get hit with that bug, it's pretty hard to shake what it injects in you. And, you know, I really enjoy building a business, growing it, and growing the people within our business as well. So I take a lot of personal pride in bringing somebody on who doesn't have a lot of experience, training them up, finding their potential, and seeing what makes them happy, and then elevating them. And you know, if someone could be with you for a long time, you take pride in that, but not everybody's going to be with you their entire career. So anything we could do to help them out and help them grow in any ways.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Going from the animal hospital to the pet resort, when you had your store, how it, because it doesn't come naturally to the merchandising piece of it, how did you know how to set up your store? How do you know what sells and what to put out there, or if something isn't selling, so you gotta put it out in the front? How did you get all of that knowledge?
So merchandising is an art. There's a good book that I read recently called Why We Buy. And it doesn't quite reveal the art of merchandising, but essentially when you walk into a retail store, everything on the right is the prime real estate. So like if you ever notice this, when you walk into any store, you generally look to your right when you first enter. So in the Mesa location, all of our freezers are on the right side when you enter. And if you try to put anything by the door, you know, people tend to see it as they're walking out. So if you have something you really want to sell, you don't put it right next to the door on the left side. It's never going to sell. We have a POS system that also tracks our sales and tells us really what's moving and what's not. So if there are items that aren't, we will of course discount them, mark them down, and not carry. We are working with a marketing company to help us promote certain lines at certain times of year. We just had a very big anniversary sale 2 weeks ago. You know, between the 2 stores, I mean, we're doing about, you know, 45,000 or so in sales, and that helps. That's because of their help promoting our products and business at that point.
Gotcha. Thank you.
thank you. If people love their pets, I'm having, you know, a dog
also
keeping my feet warm right
also
now.
preface that. I'm sorry, what?
Said people love their pets. My dog is keeping my feet warm for me right now, you know, so that when I was thinking about your pet resort and how things could go wrong so quickly, because, you know, our pets are part of our family. So I'm thinking like, it's like taking your kid to daycare, dropping your puppy off or your dog off.
We had a few dogs that would get bit on occasion, and yes, I do have unfortunately some bad stories about owning over 6 years, but those were very few and far between. You know, the vast majority of dogs that came to us went out happy and healthy like they did when they came in. But you know, there's yes, there's a lot of liability in owning one of those businesses. And, you know, if you go like on Rover, sure, if you ever used Rover, some of those folks that say they offer, you know, pet boarding at their home, you should always ask them if you're using them, if they're licensed, bonded, insured. Be amazed at how many are not. And do they go through the training of do they know how to handle dogs? Do they go through how to recognize dog behavior? But
That's good to know. I didn't ever thought about that. We have looked at Rotor before. I would not have thought of that.
yeah, there's a lot of, the thing about pets is there's, you know, everyone and their grandma wants to be in the animal industry. I mean, look, I have jokingly say, and I know it's being recorded me on YouTube, it's like, who do you tend to get along with more, person or your dog? You know, who's wagging their tail when you walk in the door? I got 4 dogs that are, you know, greet me. Of course, my kids will greet me on occasion, but there's and like you said, pets are our family, and more people are having pets than they are kids nowadays. So this industry is only going to keep growing. One thing I wanted to bring up before you mentioned about like kind of advice for business owners is that anybody in any leadership position should be in a peer leadership group, whether that's through a peer leadership group through in your industry, either provided by your company or a business affiliation. I belong to a group called Vistage. If you've heard of like, it's similar to like YPO, which is I believe Young Presidents Organization, or EO. But Vistage is a peer leadership group of CEOs, business owners, and C-suite executives that we meet once a month, and we bounce ideas off each other. I half jokingly say it's an expensive book club, but I tell you, the resources that we get out of that, and the knowledge that we get about ourselves and how to be better leaders is it's unbelievable. And if, of course, public speaking is not my strength. So Helen, I appreciate what you do. I tend to be more of a one-on-one kind of a person. So, you know, when someone brings their pet into the exam room with me, it's much easier for me to make a connection that way than it is in front of a group of folks, because I like feedback and I like folks to talk to me and tell me what they're thinking and what questions they got. But anyhow, I think I've said all I need to say. Any questions at all?
You mentioned that you have the largest raw food for pets in Arizona?
We're one of the largest raw retailers in the state.
In the state, okay. I was gonna say that would be a big thing to play up because I see commercials all the time for raw pet food. So people are familiar with it. I think it sounds like it's getting more common, more popular. People, you know, are looking for something good for their pets. They want healthy pets, you know, live a long life, and that's a big part of it.
100%. I'm sure you saw the Farmer's Dog ad that came out in the Super Bowl earlier this year. They spent like $5 million, something like that. And a lot of folks that have the dogs on Farmer's Dog, it's not bad food. It's really expensive. And so we have diets that are very comparable. We have gently cooked diets if someone does not want to do straight up raw. And those diets are often half the price of what Farmer's Dog.
That's something unique about you. So definitely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think your store in Gilbert is like right next to my house.
Oh, cool.
I passed that store.
Yeah.
We pride on how the stores look. I'm a stickler for presentation. The staff knows that, you know, like there's downtime, they're cleaning, our staff does an amazing job keeping the stores looking impeccable.
It's a beautiful store, yeah. So
Appreciate it.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Helen, and thank you, Dr. Ryan. We certainly appreciate both of you presenting today on your topics and love the pointers from both of you. Trish, did you want to add anything to today's meeting?
If we could just do a quick circle around, if there's anyone having any sort of promotion in their business that would like to share that, now is the next few minutes that you could jump on and talk about your business for 20-30 seconds.
Hey Trish, I just have one thing.
Sure.
We don't we're not running any special promotions. We did a grand opening about 2 weeks ago, so that those promotions have already ended. However, I noticed, I heard Rosie is with the roofing company and Mary Lou, the property management company. One of the things we're working on with the community is getting out and sharing our fleet programs. So we do all the preventive maintenance for retail customers or your traditional automobile owner. And then we also have special rates and programs for our fleet customers. So we hope to be able to share more about that later on, but just for the folks who are on, if you have fleets, we do provide the preventive maintenance services, AC, transmission, engine flush, et cetera, for fleets as well, which is, more of a discount than a normal customer who comes in every 3 or 4 months. I'd be more than glad to share any information on those programs.
Thank you, Thomas.
Thanks.
For me, mentioned I was with Republic Services earlier. Some people may know who we are, what we do, maybe not, but we are in the hauling and trash industry, and we service. We're in all 50 states, but we service all of Mesa as well. So if you're in the need of your trash pickup from a commercial standpoint, as well as construction sites, things of that sort, we are a #1 provider in the nation, and we have several locations to make it easy for us to ensure that we are hauling your trash pickup on time. So I'd definitely be more than happy to have those conversations on the side as well when the need arises.
Thank you, Brandon.
Can I share mine?
Go for it.
Awesome. It's not so much a special promotion as much as it is a reminder that it's always free to sign up to be a vendor for Maricopa County and to bid on our solicitation. And as small business owners, I'd encourage you all to do that and also check out our small and local certification because it gives you a leg up on those bids. So nothing but an advantage for you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Of course.
All right, we are at time. Everyone enjoy your evening. I'm not sure how many of us are going to go watch the poll results. I'm going to try to stay away, but I probably will be watching. And have a great afternoon, everyone. We certainly appreciate all of your attendance today, and our presenters certainly appreciated that.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you,
Bye.
Charlotte.
Thank you.